Hey everyone, this is Frosty, and today I'm going to be talking about the developers update that was on the StarCraft website. It is very interesting. It's about Heart of the Swarm multiplayer. Now if you missed it, I'm going to leave it in the description below, so if you want to click on it and read it, that's fine, but that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So we're going to start off with Zerg, and Zerg basically, since BlizzCon, they said before that they wanted to scrap the Overseer, but they've gone back on that. They want to actually keep the Overseer as a scout unit, maybe give it some new abilities, but the Viper they also like as well, but it's of course not going to become like the Overseer is like a scouting unit. It's just going to be a pure casting unit, so that's going to be pretty fun, and I like the fact that they can gain energy by using minerals, by like locking down minerals, so you can go to the enemy's base that doesn't have any guys there, you know, somewhere far away. It's their secret base, okay? It's their secret base, and you use these Vipers to regain your energy on their mineral patches while they're trying to harvest. Haha. Okay, so that's what I'm excited for with that. But actually, one thing I'm really also excited for with the Zerg is they're actually deciding to possibly do something with the Nidus. You know, Nidus isn't really used as much. It really isn't. I don't use it very often. If I do, it's kind of like an all-in strategy. But what they're deciding to, you know, what they're experimenting with right now is giving the, what's it called? Giving the Nidus worm some new abilities, like different types of worms that you can spawn. You know, they've experimented with, I guess they've experimented with a bunch, but some of the ones that they really like is, you know, a worm that spreads a creep highway. That is pretty awesome for the Hydras. Hydras are so slow off the creep. Oh, but then we're going to be getting a Hydra upgrade, so that doesn't matter anyways. But that's one idea of what they've thought about. With the other Nidus idea, it's a Nidus worm that attacks enemy buildings only. So it's basically just a harassing unit, I guess, and that kind of sounds really, really awesome. You know, Nidus worms aren't used very often. I think this would get them used much more often. And that's all on Zerg we have. I like it. I do. You know, none of our units got taken out, which is pretty good, because in Protoss and Terran, some of them have been taken out. Okay. Alright, so now moving on to Protoss. Protoss has actually lost the replicant. You know, that unit that would replicate a siege tank? Basically, I guess in the testing they found that, you know, they're losing their diversity apparently, because, you know, nobody's going to build a siege tank if somebody's building replicants, because then they're just going to, like, it's just, you know, like building a siege tank, so they'd probably go with like Marines and Marauders, something that you really can't replicate. It was taking the diversity out of the game. It's gone. No more replicant. Though I thought it was a really cool idea, but it's no longer there. And they're also even considering giving the Nexus some abilities. What was it called? Mass recall. Yes. Oh, I don't know. So what this is basically you can send some units in, and I guess you get this Nexus ability. I'm not sure if you're paying minerals and gas for it, who knows, but you can mass recall your units back to your Nexus. So, you know, if you're, I guess, maybe about to die, I'm not sure if you are, you know, if you're under attack, if it won't work, but it's interesting. You know, they can jump back, save their units. That's nice for them. That's nice. What else are they doing with Protoss? Oh, the Tempest. Okay, the Tempest. So you know the Tempest that they wanted to bring in so that they can counter basically the Mutas. Well, they found a counter to the Mutas by giving the Phoenix the upgrade in the range. So they're basically saying, hey, we don't really need the Tempest for that reason anymore. So they're going to make basically the Tempest like a big siege missile type thing. So it's like, I don't know, I really don't even know. It's probably going to look different. I'm not even sure how it's going to be, but it's no longer going to be that AoE area effect of kind of lightning-ish stuff. It's now going to be, I guess, big shots. Big siege type shots that hit air and ground. That's what's happening with Protoss, if you're a Protoss player, if you haven't found out. Oh, so interesting. It's so interesting. Alright, now we're going to get into Terran. Ooh, Terran. Okay, so there is a ton of stuff happening with Terran, I feel like. I feel like they just don't even know what to do with Terran with the developers update that they just brought out. Makes me think that Heart of the Swarm is going to be delayed even longer just because of Terran. They've taken out the Shredder. That was that one little like ball-like unit that like had a big ring around it. You know, the lings that ran past basically would destroy them really fast. It was supposed to be for like map control, but what ended up happening I guess in the testing is people were using it to kill off other workers. So apparently, you know, it was really hard to detect. They would just come in there, do quick damage, and kill all of these, you know, SCVs, probes, drones. They would kill them so fast. So that's why they took out the Shredder. It did look like a pretty powerful unit versus those Zerglings, I'd say. But besides that, what they're also considering on doing is they're considering taking out the Warhound. The Warhound is that kind of like mini small Thor, because they were planning on taking out the Thor, which they're actually maybe considering putting the Thor back in. But anyways, the Warhound is in consideration about what they're going to do with it. The reason they don't really know what they want to do with this guy is because it's basically like a small Thor. It's not giving, you know, Terran like an awesome new unit. It's just a small Thor, which makes sense, of course, for those Terran players. But if they do plan on keeping the actual Thor in the game, then they're wanting to get it, what is it called, like an anti-air spider mine. This is what they're experimenting with. So it's an anti-air spider mine, which is basically going to get in all those little crevices that the Terran Thors have trouble getting to, which is like, I think around the mineral patches and the back of that. I think they're just so big it's just hard to maneuver. So these would be good anti-air units for that. Oh, that sounds like anti-air units for mutas. Oh no. But it sounds fun nonetheless. I love hearing their developer updates. Now, finishing off the changes for Terran is something that they're experimenting with right now is an extremely long-range missile. This is going to break up those TVT battles, make them a little more interesting because, you know, a lot of people use tanks, so these are supposedly, I guess, supposed to counter those really hard and basically try to mix up the game into something more interesting than just tanks and marines and marauders, probably. That's basically all the changes that they're looking at right now, though they are actually, you know, they're looking at the factory. They want some more units from the factory because, you know, all they really have right now is the Hellion and they have the tank. Are they keeping the Warhound? Are they keeping the Thor? We don't know. But right now there's like 2 units coming out of the factory, I believe. Anyways, that's the changes that are happening for Heart of the Swarm multiplayer thus far. Of course, they could always change. You never know. They probably will, but I love those. I love hearing the updates. I can't wait for the beta. I want to get in that beta. Oh, are you guys excited for Heart of the Swarm? I'm so excited for Heart of the Swarm. Yes, I am going to any midnight opening there is. Oh, I'm so excited. But what's actually coming out even sooner is Diablo May 15th. Ooh, I'm not going to have a life for a few weeks there, but that's going to be fine. I'm still going to have to play some StarCraft in between. That's all for you guys today. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this update. And that's it. I'll see you all very soon. Bye, guys.